Hello, everyone. How's it going? Let me just turn chat on. Give me a second. Hey, good morning, Bob. Hey, Allison, Brian, Denny, Insane Cloud. Good to see you. We have a tight crowd. We'll see if more people join in. Um, but since we have a tight crowd, it gives us opportunity to communicate a little bit and maybe actually help. Um, Maybe I can actually be of help. So let's start with some of the issues that you guys are facing. Like what's happening? I mean, are you guys seeing any fluctuation after the Google update? Um, I don't know, what is your strategy? How much content are you creating? Sounds good, Elephant. So this will be a good refresher. But I might need to create some PLPs. I'm really bad with acronyms, so oh, product landing pages. Oh, yes, absolutely. Now you can actually create product landing pages without ranking much, much, much easier. Um, Men's winter boots, e-commerce, please use cases. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So I think a lot of people here have questions about product landing pages. Um, and that could be an e-commerce landing page. It could be a SaaS product landing page. I don't know. It could be any type of a product landing page, right? So the way you write the content, it's going to be a little different. Your keyword strategy should be also a little different over here because your product pages, it depends on the product. If it's an e-commerce product page and you have hundreds of pages that you create on an ongoing basis, then you are not going to go insane and optimize those pages uh, like your life depends on it, right? Like that's not something you're gonna do. You're gonna focus on scale. So you have to do some basic minimal things that you can do to sort of set up the structure and get going. But an e-commerce, you're going to, I mean, where is your majority of the traffic going to drive in from? And well, actually, location is great, but your product pages, your product landing pages, usually, and if you're talking about e-commerce where you have hundreds of products and landing pages, will probably not tend to rank that well. And even, I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, but they do, but it's rare, right? You're probably going to see category pages ranking a lot more, like best of something, I don't know, best shoes for so and so or something of that sort, right? And you have this extended category page where you curate all of these topics. The second place where you're going to see majority of the traffic come in from is actually writing blogs, right? Like if you're just think about it as if you were writing an affiliate blog, where you're trying to convince someone to actually purchase a product, right? And you can write content that leads users to your product. So you might want to write a blog post as well. But regardless, right? Like if you are writing not so many product pages, your concentration is very niche, right? And you are, doing as much as you can to optimize this. You can do that without ranking now using a specific workflow. So give me a keyword that you'd like to create content around for a product page, and I can start there. That would definitely help. Oh, best winter boots. It could be a blog post actually, or a category page. I mean, I'm trying to understand what the keyword is. Climate. I'm not sure what that is. We can start with best winter boots, but that's most likely going to be a blog post or a category page. So if that works, I'm happy to go give it a start. But a product page would be more specific, right? Like a brand or something. Uh, Air conditioner Tunisia. Okay, all right. It is for one brand. Yes. Yes, so yeah, it would be probably a category page, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And this is one of the challenges with trying to focus too much on SEO aspect, like optimizing content for category and product pages, because category pages you just write content once and then you are done with it, right? So we can actually do this, right? So let's say you have a category page, and I'm gonna pick something that, so we can start with the best winter boot. So your objective is to, let's say, establish that category page. You're gonna have tons and tons of product on it, but you want some information on that particular page. So we'll create that information using outranking right now. So let's do that. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we'll start with the new AI assisted writing workflow where we have let's pick I'm not going to so is this country specific or not? So let me pick best winter boots. It's something that I actually understand. And yeah, so we'll leave setting as the US. But if you're very location specific for a particular query, you can actually type in the city name as well here. So like I can type in Boston and pick from a Boston city. So for location specific, you can use this. For this, we will use United States. Okay, and we'll create a new document. Mostly going to see many e-commerce websites, I believe, in their category page. Could be wrong. We'll see if Google has not shuffled everything around. Best winter boots for 2023. So it's most likely an affiliate blog and some e-commerce websites. I see review by Wirecutter, some reviews as well. So this is a good topic, right? Like for an e-commerce. These are the type of topics that you want to write about. The best winter boots for Wirecutter. No, we don't want to go for Wirecutter. 2023 best, and we'll say, how about this? So we have 11, we'll say 13 best winter boots of 2023. And okay, all right. So something of this sort, right? Maybe this can be hidden. That's fine as well. I don't see any buying guides over here. I definitely don't see that. So this would be interesting. There is one review over here, so I threw in a review over there. So just think about this, right? Like this might be hidden. Google might rewrite your title. That's fine, but I still have all my keywords targeted, so that will definitely help me. Okay, so based on the title that I've selected, it's sort of automatically recognizing that my web page type is a blog with a list of best products. And if this was a landing page, like a product landing page, I could definitely choose a landing page, and the tone and the writing and everything will be heavily influenced by that. So definitely try that out. E-commerce product page, right? Like you can even choose that. So if you have a specific product, and you are willing to feed in some information as research and write around it, you can do e-commerce product pages as well. But this is automatically picked, and in case you want to change it, you can, but it automatically kind of recognizes what should be created based on this. Okay, it's going to create some outlines. These are the keywords that we need to target. We have to target about 59 keywords. These are all the search terms that other pages are ranking for, given this particular keyword. So you don't want to try and rank for only one keyword at a time, right? You want to target as many keywords as possible, which are relevant to each other, I mean, which are related to each other in one topic. So these are all of those. And there are many more that some of this other pages are ranking for. So we'll see what our outline comes up with, and then we can go and add this, right? So we've currently 46 targeted, right? So we can target some more as we go along. These are the 13 best. Introduction, importance of choosing the right boat. Okay, all right. So let's pull this out. Let's pull this out. We'll remove this. Introduction. Okay, winter boot breakdown. Okay, this is great. Key features to look for. Perfect. Frequently asked questions and top 13. So we kind of have a very great outline. It also meets this requirement, but it doesn't meet the requirement of our target keywords. So there's two things now you can do. And this is where outranking is like, it's totally nuts. One is we can, and you see there's like definitely men, right? Like best winter snow boot for men. And there is going to be probably for women, right? Like cold weather. So what we can do is we can go and add an H2. I would definitely add an H2 for women. And if you want, you can also add one for kids. Not saying you have to now like do 13 of these, right? You can, what you can do is, let's minimize this. And I will move this here. So you can now club some of these into this men's category, right? So there we go. Let's move this here, and it automatically recognizes it's two, right? Like, so I don't know. That's the part of the research that you are going to have to do. And you can see that we already are 57 by just including this 3 keywords in it, right? So you can take this approach and you can build the remaining things out, right? Let's, for the sake of it, I'm going to move them back over here for right now and show you the second trick, which you can use to optimize this content, this outline automatically. So let's do it. Okay, all right. So let's forget all these keywords. We'll minimize this, and we know we still need to optimize a little bit on keywords and outline, and we can do that later. So we have an outline, sort of resonates with what we want to do. Let me delete this as well. Now we can go to our first draft. All right. Now, if you're doing this on repeated basis, right? Like if you have a silo you are executing or you're working on a very specific website, I highly recommend that you go and create your style guide. And I would say just copy and paste exactly what we have and modify it according to your requirements. There is a small update that's going live today that will just copy our default style guide into your new ones. You can then modify and save it and personalize it and make it your own. But till then, right, like, so you can modify this. Now the tone is friendly over here. You can add that, say, friendly with humor, with a touch of humor, let's say, for example, right? Or you can say with a touch of humor and storytelling. This will like, so you can be creative over here, and it really is influenced by the tone of writing. So this is the first thing that you want to personalize. Second thing you want to personalize is, let's say if I have a style guide, and if I can talk about a product that I'm repeatedly talking about, right? Like how to talk about something. So you have a brand that you repeatedly write about, right? And it's a product. So you repeatedly mention about that. Then what you can say is, you can mention a few things about that product and say, whenever you're writing this content, and you find a particular fit to mention this product, go ahead and mention it. That way it saves you a lot of rewrite when you're actually, going through and adjusting the information for it, for adding some information about your brand. So like, let's say you have an e-commerce website where you sell a specific thing and you have a brand, right? And your brand sells this, and this, and maybe a few details about those things as well. You can form a proper paragraph and say, when you're talking about this particular this particular things, right? Like, this is what you need to talk about. And that's exactly what I've done. How to talk about outranking. And I've added like a long passage over here that allows me to kind of tell it what outranking is, what it does, and when it's writing it, it kind of can take that information and adjust what outranking does automatically into the written content. So you can take this, you can personalize it, and then generate that first draft, right? So let's use default for this one, because there's nothing here about outranking. And we have friendly tone over here, and just generate first draft. So mind it, it's still not optimized, right? We didn't optimize the title. Oh, we did optimize the title, but we did not optimize the outlines. It's optimized for numbers, but not for keywords. And we'll see how we can fix that as we go along. And while this is generating, let's take some questions. In the outline wizard, are the suggested headings weighed in any way? By that, I mean, are the first suggestions more likely to be used in high ranking competitor sites? For suggestions, I'm trying to understand what do you mean. So let's go ahead and while the draft is generating, we'll go to here. Uh-oh. It is still generating, so let's get it. Okay. I sort of broke it. Okay, let's go back, and then we'll go back here again. So in outline builder, this outlines are not weighed in any way, but these are the rankings of, let's collapse this all. So I think Eddie had one of these questions, right, that he has to go through and look at this. So you can collapse all, and you can see all of these things together. Now, when these are basically ranking pages, right, and in order that they're ranking, and that's how we've laid them out, right? So it's totally up to you. I mean, we don't suggest you look at one and don't look at the other. We say that you go and look at everything and be as comprehensive as you can in your outline. And when we build out the outline, we take as many outlines that can fit in a prompt to kind of analyze them and come up with a very comprehensive outline by itself. So this is very influenced by that logic. So it should give you that starting point, right? But chances are that it might miss out on some time. So you can look and see what's missed out and add that to your outline. So we have those already, and that's part of your keyword list, right? So if you go down, you will see there are some entities that has been used again and again by competitors in their ranking pages are also listed in the same thing. It just happens that for this one, there are tons and tons of related keywords, but most topics will have like 5, 10, 15 related keywords. So you'll see a good chunk right here and not such an extensive list. but these are entities that you need to include in your outline. There are other entities that you need to include in your content, which we will talk about once the content is generated. I will just write the draft again. That's okay. Let it write. If that makes sense, right? Let's look at another topic maybe. And my documents. While this is generating, we'll look at another document. Right. So your outline is what, like, okay, so look at this, right? This only has this many keywords, and these are your entities actually. Reviews, MacBo, Inch, right? Like this is the most important topics that matter or have been mentioned repeatedly in the ranking pages. So entities are super important to be comprehensive and cover the entire topic. Not so much in terms of density, right? Like you can be here or there as far as you covered it enough. That's good. But what's better about outranking when it's writing this content is it's heavily influenced by many of these entities. So even if the entities are not directly mentioned into the content that is written, the core subject matter is around those entities. So it's very easy to adjust missing entities into the content. Cool. It's writing some pretty good stuff, right? Based on the style guide that we've given it. Uh, we're talking about product, right? So when we're talking about product, we want to talk about features. We want to talk about benefits and cons, right? When you have a best list of things. So it's doing a very great job. You can see that it's writing benefits, features, and it will keep repeating that for all the products that it writes. So it's very cohesive in terms of the output. So you have to do very minimal edits. Or at least you can save time in editing structure. You can obviously have to add probably information, do some fact checking, and add more details to this, but it comes very easy if it is structured properly. It's a very extensive outline, 32 topics, so I'll take a few minutes. Any other questions? So Eddie's, how can I access the style guide when I'm already in the optimized stage? I couldn't find it. Yes. So when you are in optimized stage, you can go back to writing tools, and here's the first draft wizard. Just click and you will go back to the first draft wizard where you can actually go to style guides. You can also select a default now. We added that later on. So if it is default, every time you come, it will just pick up your style guide and use that. Okay. 6. Oh, wow, it's taking some time. It's fine. It's GPT-4, so it takes time to generate the responses on automation. Yes. You can see this information is pretty great. Like it's also asking you to add some images over here. Stuff. Its drafts are like amazing. They're beautiful. I mean, if you started out right, building a process around a simple structure is so much easier than getting that blob of text, right? That you not only have to break, but it's just stuffed with so much information that you don't know where it's going. By like really allowing it to give it your tone, you can like super personalize this as well. Yeah, this is great information. The best part is that like it's because it's looking at all the sources available for this particular product on SERP side. It's very comprehensive of all the concepts found in different pages and bringing them together. Yeah, for this reason, Chat GPT is such, I mean, GPT-4 is suggesting images. Take it with a grain of salt, right? Like what it's really actually trying to tell you is you can add your own images at this places with this placeholders as your anchor text, right? Like that's exactly what it's doing. Yeah, it's just it's a long topic. I think once we get to all of these, then it goes pretty fast because these are smaller ones. Yeah, so while this draft is loading, right? Like I want to show how do we auto optimize this draft as well. So we'll get there. But if you have any questions, I can jump to another web page and explain anything quickly till the draft generates. So feel free to drop your questions in. See a few more people join in later on. Any other question, guys? Drop it in. Are you all actively working on your own website? I know Eddie is. Sounds good, Ellison. Got it. I think outdoor clothing can come very naturally with, with some basic understanding, ChatGPT can write quite well, given the right context of content here. I mean, if you're consistently working on one brand and you're writing a lot of content, create a customized template for this client. It is a time saver. Just by adding that one additional line and telling it on how to write about the brand, it saves so much time of thinking like how do I really insert information that will be relevant to the brand that I'm writing about, so it can it can act as some form of CTA when user is reading the content that can naturally lead them to this other pages, right? So yeah, it is a great time saver if you do that. Has anybody tried auto optimize yet, or tried optimizing with AI assisted workflow, or AI assistant? Pretty much. Has any of you tried that? What has been your experience so far with that? This feature is what I'm talking about. Semantic triple. Of course, everything that AI does need to be verified, Eddie. As far as it gets you along, though. This isn't. Oh, okay. Not sharing it. We'll cut that out. But yeah, I'm happy to share some of the topics that we've been writing with AI, right? And we'll see like this one, right? It was just published yesterday. It was published on 19th. It's today. I think how to get high authority EDU backlinks. And um, this is heavily written by AI, but researched by a human, then rewritten by AI, right? Like it's insanely valuable. It has so much information sourced from so many places with so many details. It is actually really good content, but it's heavily assisted by AI. And you can see like it's ranking on first page. Like it was like 2 days ago, 19th. We just updated it today, but yeah, it was published 2 days ago. So it's insane. Like AI or no AI, that's not even a question. The question is how valuable the information is, that the final outcome is, right? And that's all that matters. So this is getting almost close to end here. A few more sections, and then we'll go. Yeah, like treat it at the starting point, right? Like never the finished thing. If you're looking for a finished thing, then it's not going to be long-term successful. I think many of the people who got into the AI bandwagon thinks that they can create a niche website and make it successful overnight by doing some of these things, and it's not sustainable. Okay, two more sections to go, and then we'll optimize the content. And you can see, right, like as soon as it got to frequently asked questions, its tone changed, right, and it becomes more concise. And all of these is part of the style guide that you can modify. So you might not want to modify everything, but a couple of things like tone and how to talk about your brand can be like heavily modified and rewritten. So let's go from here. Okay, all right. So we have this. It wrote about 4,000 words. This is great. Now, I see the title description is optimized. My headings is not, which we knew that it wasn't because we haven't covered all the keywords yet. We've covered about only 39% of the keywords, right? But it's heavily influenced by those. So we know which ones we need to cover and how we need to cover them, right? So let's go here, click on auto optimize, and we'll click on keywords and heading, missing common terms. And I can't choose internal links because I don't have a sitemap which resonates with best winter boot, so it's not going to do anything. But I tend to include originality too with my first draft before I proceed further and start editing and adding value and stuff like that. So just I know like everything is out of the way. And then I start. So here we are adding keywords to heading, right? Like that's what it's doing. And we can accept or reject any of those things. And we know we want to target like maybe a few more keywords in it. Or, I mean, if you want to go nuts over it, maybe everything. All right. So it rewrote, right? So introduction, importance of selecting the best men's winter boot for extreme cold. I don't want to do that. Uh, how to use the guide to select a perfect winter boot, comprehensive guide to most valuable, comfortable winter walking boots. Yeah, that's fine. Uh, not men. Okay, so this is men's, right? So it's just rewrote a little bit, which is great. This is also for men. Okay. Except I don't want to do that. So I'm just doing some of them. You can also choose to only optimize so the later ones, cleaning storage tips for this, durability, comfort, and fit. Nope. Okay, all right. So, I mean, I've covered a few more over here, and we can go through all of these or regenerate a few. It's totally up to us, or we can skip it, right? So I've accepted a few, and it slightly improved my score, but I'm not going to go nuts over it. So let's skip this. And then it will generate the common. This is something that I will never bypass, right? Like these are the entities. that you want to include in your content. And there's no other better way to just, do this and include everything and then start editing the content once the first draft is generated. um I mean, it just saves so much time. You don't have to think twice on where to include what entity, and how to go about fixing your content later on, right? Like, that's a lot of re-edit and rework. This just takes care of it altogether. And it will try to rewrite like minimally, like it'll keep the structure intact and all of that. Even if you're optimizing an existing web page and you run this, it will keep the layout of your images and links and everything intact, like when it's rewriting, right? So it's very powerful. You still have to verify sometimes, right? But um, it does a good job. GPT-4 is really slow today for some reason. Well, it can, well, if you have done that, I think the best way would be to reduce it. Like, but keyword stuffing is, it's going to happen if you've deliberately done something like really terrible. But if it is naturally written and you've included this terms naturally as part of it, even though it might seem a little off place, right? Like, if you've like used 3% or more density, then I would manually go and edit them. Chances, like, if there was anything missing, then it would rewrite that content and remove some of those repetitions by itself. But if there's nothing missing, you've included everything just way too many times, then I think the approach to optimization of that would be slightly different. I just never focus on density. Densities are like always less. Maybe the main primary keyword and the words around it have a little higher density, but um, like none of these topics we ever worry about density that ranks. Yes, I'll go over that in just a second. While this is generating, let it generate, right? Like, then we'll accept all and we'll know that all the common terms are taken care of. We can go to maybe strategist. So strategist in internal linking, if you want to optimize the content actually that you're creating, you want to optimize this content. And you've never done the optimization with outranking before, in that case, you have to create a new document, right? So when you click on optimize content, I have already created a document, so it took me over there. But let's say if I did not, and I should have all the content created already. Maybe this one is not created. Let's see this. It doesn't rank for any keyword, so I can't really do that. All of this content we've written, and it has been done. So let's see this one. Okay, so in this case, we got this, right? So what it's telling me is that this URL is ranking for 4 of these keywords in Google at the moment, at this moment, right? And what is the primary keyword that I want to use when I create this document? Now, it's perfect, it's not. Because if the website, if the link is new or it's relatively newer, then your search console data isn't going to be complete. And if that's the case, then you're not going to see the right suggestions here. So in to mitigate this, we have a minor release coming up tomorrow, like I said, that allows you to add your own keyword and map a document. So you can add like a keyword that you are trying to rank for this particular topic, and then create a document around it. But that's pretty much it, right? Meanwhile, if you don't see your keyword that you want to optimize for, just copy this URL and create a new document and optimize it. It should work the same way. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of keywords we have to insert because we were at 39. So it's still doing a lot of writing, and we can start accepting a few just to see what happens. Score did not improve yet. It's still working on it. Did that answer your question, Denny, about the keyword access, about the optimized content? Once your page matures, right, and it has sufficient amount of data, then it does a very good job in identifying the keyword because it's based on your search console data. But while the page is relatively newer, Google still hasn't figured out. It might keeps rotating the keywords and stuff, right? So you might not have the right data at that time. Yeah, it still take a few more. Any other question, guys? While this is happening, it might take another 2 minutes for it to go through all of these. Yep. How to improve readability? Okay. So when you get your first draft, the readability might be a little lesser, and I'll tell you some of the reasons why. You have sentences like this that make the construction of sentences like a little complicated, right? So once you remove those, it will definitely improve. Now, how can you improve it further, right? You can improve it further by keeping your words like your sentences shorter. That's one way. Also, not including very complex or very long words in each of those sentences, right? Like things which are very easily understandable by user. Those are the things that you can include to improve your readability. it's it is a factor. We have seen many pages with higher readability ranking better than lower readability. We can make your passage shorter, but sentences shorter might change the meaning, right? Like even if you use any AI, it might not match to it. So some like you can use Grammarly for that, right? Like that's the best thing to do with Grammarly. And if you have a Grammarly plugin, it will work with outranking editor to help you do that. You can take that as part of your editing, right? Like when right before you're publishing, your proofreading and things like that. That's part of editorial work. But yeah, like just install Grammarly, and you will see a small circle come up over here. It'll highlight the suggestions, right? You can use that. That's the best way to improve readability. I'm trying to see if it turns yellow, but it is still red. So I'm thinking it is still doing its thing. So in many cases, right, like if you come with very thin content, right, like it's not ranking and you're trying to improve it, and you go through auto optimization wizard, it's going to add so much new information to it. And try to make it on par with it, right? And many times one write is not sufficient to insert all the keywords. So it will do the first set of writing, and then it will, try to populate some more suggestions to insert that and rewrite again. You have to consider that. It happens rarely when the content is really thin, but it can do this a couple of times to get to the correct density of common terms. At least from not like going super deep in it, but covering majorly all the areas. Like I can currently see that it's not even yellow, right? Which means that it might even have to rewrite and insert more keywords later. Yeah. We chose a topic which was tough, and you can see like people have written 9,000 words around this. It only makes sense that we have 5,631 so far. And the range, like being from 200 words to 10,000, tells you that there are definitely some e-commerce page, and you might want to check them out right before you start writing, but there are definitely some e-commerce pages. How do you internal link? Okay. Um, okay, so let's think about this. You have a category, blogging, for say, right? And you are talking about how to write a blog, how to write a travel blog, how to write pet blog, how to write blogging for lawyers, example, right? Like, and that's your content, like within that particular category. The best way to go about thinking about this is use a plugin. Tag them together and ensure that they all circulate together and are interconnected in some way or the other. Don't overthink it. Or you can be a little strategic and think about user first and include them naturally, the pages which are in the same category, right? In your content naturally is what I'm saying, without going nuts over figuring out which bold should fit into which nut, right? Like it's going to drive you nuts. So don't do that. But is it going to be sufficient to help you rank the cluster? Absolutely not. Even if, let's say, right, like this hub and spoke wheel is great way of supporting your pillar pages because it transfers all the equity up to the pillar page, and it's great way to write content, because if you're writing about similar topics and you can easily write and build your expertise and authority in, it's great. But thinking about internal linking in a way that like you're trying to connect each and every piece is driving you nuts, because you have no control over which page is going to attract the most link equity. Sometimes your internal page will get another internal link from some of the other pages, right? Like knowingly or unknowingly, which is very high authority, and it transfers so much to it that it ranks better. Many times your page rank at number one, and it has no, like it ranks at number one position, let's say, for example, but the clicks coming to that page is 0 to none, right? That page is not going to have any link equity. So thinking about how to link each of these pages and drive the most equity to each of these pages is what you should be thinking about. And you should use some of this relatively easier tools to internal link this silo, so that you don't have to like go nuts over it. You can still include them naturally in your content, but they are some sort of way connected with this plugins, right? Like of related post in a category or tags or things like that. But to drive the most link equity, you should be using the method that we are using for internal linking and outranking. And I mean, I showed some example. I can show some more examples. You can look at the traffic coming to our site as well, and how greatly it has improved, like in just a couple of weeks, right? After implementing internal links, right? The way outranking is suggesting, and you can do this overnight. I'm telling you, like it will work absolutely. So I'm gonna accept all, and it's probably still okay. So now it turned yellow, but it's not sufficient to do green. So let's just accept all and move on, and it'll generate now each suggestions, right? So I'm gonna exit this, but we're very close to 79%, right? Like now you can figure out which one do you want to insert. And we were at link equity. So I'm like, okay, so this is 80%, right? Like, so you can use a combination of both of these to kind of get there. This is not a review page. This is list of best topics, 13 top winter boots. So that's why it's 6,000 words. and we sort of extended the topic. There's 9,000 as maximum in top 10, so you can see that it's still not much. But yes, but getting back to the internal linking topic, right? You want to drive the most amount of link equity to a particular page, with some sort of relevancy. And to do that, what you need to do is get a link from a page that has higher page rank. Otherwise, whatever you do is internal linking, but it's not helping. And not helping unless at least one of these topics, right, go and make some buzz in Google, right? Like, so if you see this, these are the pages with higher link equity, right? Like their page rank is higher, at least the recorded. Whenever we recorded this, when we were doing this research. So if you get a link from one of this page, then this page has much higher chance of moving up in search engine, just because it's getting more link equity from a relevant page, and that's the total fundamental behind it. So even though you do the silo, right, and all of that, this is what you're going to really need in order to get the rankings moving up. And the more you do it, right, the more and more link equity gets transferred to all of your other pages. And this is just like very obvious thing to do if you want to improve the rankings of your existing site. Do this enough, maybe just do 5 URLs and see it for yourself. Like, you'll get some really fast results on this. Cool, sounds good. Yeah, we did this, right? And then you can do internal linking as well. You can selectively choose where you want to insert this. I'm not going to, because on-page SEO has nothing to do with winter boots. So I can, right? Like, AI is not going to tell me that I won't do it for you. It'll do it for me, but it'll just not be relevant. And this is where you can control your sitemap. You can add more sitemaps if you'd like from your account as well. Cool. That's about it when it comes to this, right? Super easy. We got to common terms. We've included all the things. The post is optimized. It's still not proofread by human, and maybe fact checked a little bit, added more sources, screenshots, and things like that. Can take another hour or so. But yeah, you can easily bring it down from 8 to 10 hours to maybe 3 hours or so in writing a really good quality post. Sounds good. Any other questions, guys? We're coming at the end of the hour. I want to make sure that everybody got something out of this webinar. If you have any questions, drop it in. If not, we'll call this a day, and we'll see you guys next week. Sounds good, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Eddie. And we'll see you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week.